He went quiet. Again. No message, no explanation, just distance. And you're left wondering, did he forget? Did he stop feeling it? But what if the silence isn't a sign of disconnection? What if it's a sacred pause before transformation? Because this week, especially around June 30th, something deeper is happening within the divine masculine. Not in words, not in action, but in energy. The silence is not rejection. It's a cocoon, a collapse of old stories, a battle with the shadows he never let you see. He's not hiding from you. He's facing himself. And when the masculine retreats like this, it's not the end. It's the beginning of remembering. And if you can stay present, if you can hold your light without chasing the noise, this silence will become a bridge back to union. But only if you understand what it truly means. Because this isn't ordinary silence. This is spiritual isolation. And it's happening for a reason. You're still listening, even though he says nothing. You're still feeling, even though he's far away. And while your mind keeps trying to understand why he's gone silent again, your soul already knows. Because something sacred is stirring in the invisible. And it begins exactly where sound ends. As June comes to a close, a hidden calling moves beneath the surface. And the divine masculine is feeling it, like an earthquake in his spirit. You might not see it in his face, but you feel it in your own body, in the strange dreams, in the moments when time pauses and everything feels louder inside. He's not ignoring you. He's being summoned. And this time, he can't run. He's not being pulled toward action yet. He's being pulled inward. Into the guilt he never knew how to name. Into the confusion he's hidden behind logic. Into the fear that stopped him from getting close. Even when his heart cried out for you, you feel him backing away. But what if he's closer to himself than he's ever been? What if his silence, though painful, is also sacred? The final days of June aren't just dates. They're a spiritual cocoon, a quiet initiation for the masculine who holds a soul bond. And like all real transformation, it begins in the dark. This silence is not random. It's the beginning of a clearing, a stripping away of every lie he told himself about love, about you, about what he's capable of feeling. Because the truth is, he does feel more than you know, more than he knows how to handle. His silence is not a sign of your failure. It's a sign that something deep inside him is starting to break open. This week, he doesn't want to be seen. Not because he doesn't care, but because he's ashamed of what he buried. The parts of him that wanted to love you, but couldn't figure out how to stay. And now, the universe isn't giving him space to run anymore, only space to face himself. You may notice, the dreams are stronger, the signs more frequent. The weight in your chest that doesn't even feel like yours, it's not your imagination, it's the resonance. Because your soul is still linked to his, and he's pulling energy just by thinking of you. This kind of silence is not absence. It's the space between old and new. And in that space, he is deciding, not logically, but energetically, whether he's ready to meet you in truth. He doesn't know it yet, but his heart is trying to find its way home. So if you've been feeling empty, tired, emotional, it's because your energy field is processing not just your own transformation, but his. Because the divine feminine doesn't just receive love, She anchors it. She holds the space, even when it feels like she's holding nothing. But this nothingness, this sacred silence, is the birthplace of a new timeline. And June 30th, that's not the day he chooses you. It's the day he begins to remember why he couldn't let you go. Why the masculine energy withdraws before big shifts. He disappears when you get too close. He goes silent when the energy intensifies. And every time the connection feels like it's finally reaching a new level, he retreats. You've asked yourself 1,000 times, why now? Why again? Why does he always pull away when things start to feel real? But the answer isn't logical, it's energetic. Because the divine masculine doesn't withdraw to punish you. He withdraws because something inside him is being shaken, and his old self doesn't know how to survive it. Every time his soul gets close to yours, a part of him remembers something ancient, a truth he's tried to forget, a love that scares him more than losing you. Yes, scares. Not because he doesn't feel it, but because he feels it more deeply than he ever expected. You are not just a person in his life. You are a mirror. And mirrors are terrifying when all you've done is run from your own reflection. So when he steps into your field, he sees himself, not just who he is now, but who he's meant to become. And that level of recognition, that vibration of remembrance, it cracks open the walls he built long before he even knew your name. But before a man can open his heart, he must face the things that closed it. And that's why he pulls away. Because the closer he gets to the truth, the more his ego fights to protect the lie that he's not enough, the lie that love will leave, the lie that vulnerability is weakness, the lie that it's safer to be alone than to be seen. So he withdraws, not to hurt you, but to survive the intensity of what his soul already knows is coming. Because real love doesn't just comfort, it confronts, it asks him to grow, to break cycles, to release the masks, to stop performing and start feeling. And for the masculine, that is often done in silence. Isolation is his initiation. You see the distance, you hear the silence. But behind that stillness, a storm is moving. Memories are surfacing, shadows are being exposed, and a soul, his soul, is being reborn in the background of your waiting. Because every step back he takes is not a rejection. It's a recalibration, a detox from every false idea he ever had about what love was supposed to look like. And if you've been sensing emotional waves this week, if your dreams have been strange, or your body feels tired for no reason, you are feeling his process. He is in the void. That sacred pause between identity and awakening, where he's not yet the man who can stand by your side, but no longer the one who ran away without understanding why. This is not a breakdown. This is a reconstruction, and you, beloved, are not being left behind. You are being asked to hold a space he doesn't know how to ask for. A space where judgment is replaced by faith, where attachment dissolves into surrender, where love doesn't chase, but trusts. Because the masculine awakens not when you wait, but when you release. Release the narrative, release the need to know, release the story that his retreat means it's over. It's not over, it's beginning, just not in the way you imagined. He's not gone, he's becoming. And when the dust settles, when the portal closes, When June 30 passes, he won't be the same man anymore, and neither will you, because you didn't wait. You held the frequency, and that, more than anything, is what brings him home. What he's really processing in isolation? He's quiet, not just with you, but with the world. You sense it like a cold wind moving through your chest at night, a presence that feels close and distant at the same time. It's not that he doesn't want to reach out, it's that he doesn't know how to exist as the man he's becoming. Because right now, in the silence, in the isolation, he's facing the weight of everything he never healed. There's a reason the masculine retreats when love starts to feel too real. And it's not because the love is wrong, it's because it touches the exact place where he buried every part of himself he thought wasn't worthy of being loved. In isolation, he's being shown a mirror. Not of you, but of him. The wounded child, the pressured provider, the man who was never taught how to feel without shame, the boy who was told to be strong but never told how to grieve. And now that he's met you, the one who reflects truth, not illusion, his soul is collapsing timelines. He's processing lifetimes of suppression in a matter of days. It doesn't make sense to the mind, but the soul? The soul knows this is sacred timing. He's remembering moments he forgot, pain he never cried for, choices that were made from fear, not love. And you may be wondering why you feel his sadness so suddenly, why your own heart aches with emotions that don't even feel like yours. It's because your soul are in constant communication, even when your mouths are not. He doesn't speak it, but he feels you holding space for him. He doesn't admit it, but he longs for your presence while fighting the shame that says he doesn't deserve it. And in this inner war, he is not trying to choose between you and someone else. He's choosing between his old self and his awakened self, between the part of him that plays roles to stay safe and the part of him that wants to be seen fully without armor. He's questioning everything. Not because he doubts the connection, but because the connection is so deep. It's revealing everything he still hasn't accepted about himself. That's the thing about sacred love. It doesn't let you hide. It doesn't let you stay small. It cracks you open in the exact place you tried hardest to protect. He's realizing he never really knew what intimacy was. He mistook chemistry for connection. He confused desire with devotion. He thought freedom meant distance. And now he's learning that real freedom comes through honesty, not escape. That's what he's processing right now. Not just whether he misses you, but whether he's ready to rise into the man who can meet you. Not just whether he feels the bond, but whether he can sustain it without running from it. He's not ghosting you. He's ghosting his own past. And in doing so, he's entering a sacred crucible of remembrance. This is the part of the journey where the masculine either breaks down or breaks through. And the outcome doesn't depend on your effort. It depends on his surrender. But your role matters. Your field matters. Because while he's in the cocoon, your light is the signal in the dark, the memory that keeps pulling him back from self-abandonment, the energetic safety that tells his soul, you don't have to hide anymore. So if you've felt his energy swirling through your thoughts, if you've woken up with a heaviness you can't explain, if you've cried without a reason, it's because you're transmuting with him. This is not just his silence, it's your shared passage. And soon, when the veil lifts and the cocoon dissolves, you'll both see what was growing in the dark. Not absence, not rejection, but rebirth. He's not avoiding you. He's becoming someone who can finally face you. This part of the journey isn't easy. You feel the distance. You sense the wall. And the silence that once felt like a pause now echoes like a storm inside your chest. But beloved, this silence is not your punishment. It's your preparation. Because when the masculine enters his cocoon, the feminine is called to rise, not to chase, not to explain, not to prove, but to anchor a frequency that even he doesn't yet know he needs. You are the lighthouse in this phase. And lighthouses don't go searching for lost ships. They stay lit, so the lost can find their way home. This is not the time to dim yourself to match his shadow. This is the time to shine so deeply in your truth that your radiance becomes the reminder of what's possible. When love doesn't run, he is in his cocoon. And while he's unraveling, you are being asked to step into something even more powerful: sovereignty. This isn't about detaching from him out of anger. It's about connecting to yourself so fully that his absence no longer feels like a loss, but a sacred space being carved for something real. You are not here to wait in suffering. You are here to bloom in silence. And every time you choose joy, peace, nourishment, even while not knowing what's next, you are sending a vibration through the energetic cord you share. Because the feminine heals the masculine not by fixing him, but by embodying what he forgot existed. Love without condition, presence without pressure, truth without fear. He's learning how to face himself. You're being asked to trust what you already know, that this bond is not broken, it's transforming. You were never meant to hold him together. You were meant to hold your center so powerfully that it reminds him of who he is when he's lost. And you felt it, haven't you? The days where your body feels heavy, like you're carrying something unseen. The dreams that visit you in fragments, pieces of his past, his wounds, his longing. The urge to reach out, to explain, to help him remember. But this time, you're not supposed to move. You're supposed to remain still enough to receive the messages coming through you, still enough to hear the guidance, still enough to become the calm in your own storm. Because when the feminine overreaches, the masculine retreats. But when she rests in her knowing, he feels safe enough to return. So breathe. Return to ritual. Return to your body. Write the letter you'll never send. Dance with your shadows until they become wings. Your role now is to love yourself the way you wish he would love you. To nurture your own energy as if the reunion depended on it, because in a way, it does. You are the keeper of frequency. And in this phase, the frequency of union lives inside you. This is the test of the feminine, to believe in what she can't see, to feel truth when no one confirms it, to stay soft, even when the silence feels cruel, because this isn't just about romantic love, this is about soul alignment. And that alignment begins with you becoming the version of yourself that doesn't wait, but receives. You are not powerless here. You are the portal. He may not say it, he may not even know how to name it, but every time you rise, his soul takes a step closer. So no, you are not being forgotten. You are being remembered. In the most sacred language there is, energy. What will happen when the silence breaks? There will be a moment. It won't come when you expect it. It won't look like the grand apology your mind imagined. But it will come, quiet, raw, real. And when it does, something inside you will pause, because you'll feel it before you see it. A message, a whisper, a dream that shifts into clarity. Or perhaps a simple hi. Not from ego, not from the mask, but from a part of him that has been buried beneath fear for so long. He almost forgot how to speak. And when the silence breaks, you'll realize something powerful. He wasn't avoiding you. He was finding the courage to face you. Because during the silence, everything changed, not just for him, for you too. You're no longer the version of yourself who begged for breadcrumbs. You're no longer waiting by the phone or decoding signs from a wounded place. You've become the woman who knows, who feels, who holds love without losing herself in it. And that shift in you is exactly what called him back. You didn't chase, you didn't force, you didn't make his process about your worth. You held the flame, and that light is what drew him out of the dark. When he speaks again, it may be clumsy. He might not have the words yet. He might test the waters, unsure of what version of you he'll find. He's afraid of being met with anger, disappointment, or coldness, not because you're cruel, but because he knows he disappeared when you were wide open. But you won't need to punish him. You won't need to prove how much you were hurt, because something deeper will speak louder than wounds. Your peace. And that peace will shake him, not in fear, but in recognition. He'll feel the stability in your energy, the calm that says, I didn't stop loving, I just stopped leaking. You've reclaimed yourself, and in doing that, you made space for him to reclaim his truth too. When the silence breaks, he will not be the same. There will be hesitation in his voice, but also softness, gratitude, a kind of spiritual humility that can only come from facing yourself in the dark. He may not explain everything at once. He may still be learning how to show up without the armor. But this time, if you listen closely, you'll hear the soul speaking. You'll hear the echoes of his isolation, the nights he thought of you, the dreams that wouldn't let him forget, the signs that kept pulling him back to something he couldn't define but couldn't let go. Because this love, it doesn't die in distance, it transforms in silence. And now that he's returning, not as a runner, but as a man who's begun to remember, your role is not to pick up the past. It's to create the present, a new frequency, a new timeline. You don't need to explain where you've been. He felt it. And deep down, so did you. This reunion isn't just a conversation. It's a recalibration. A re-entry into a connection that's no longer based on pain, but on truth. Because what breaks silence is not sound, it's readiness. And now, both of you are almost there. So, when the message comes, when the knock echoes in your spirit, when the thread pulls again, breathe, because this time, you'll know. You'll feel it in your bones. And you won't need to ask if it's real. You'll remember. What the masculine's silence was really preparing. This was never just about silence. It was a portal, a cocoon, a sacred recalibration. Because while you were counting days, he was unraveling lifetimes. While you were wondering if he would return, his soul was asking whether he could even survive the version of love you offer. Not because it's too much, but because it's too true. You didn't scare him. Your light did, not because it was harsh, but because it reached into every part of him that had been hiding. And the masculine was never taught how to be seen in softness. He was taught to perform, to fix, to provide, but not to feel. And now, the universe, through you, has handed him a key. Not to open your heart, but to finally open his own. This silence wasn't rejection. It was divine interruption. A pause placed by the cosmos so he could confront the layers that kept him running. So he could finally see that love is not loss, that presence is not weakness, that being held does not mean he will be broken. And this last phase, this ache, this distance, this confusion, it was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to strengthen your intuition, to make your trust louder than your doubt, to teach you how to hold your own light so clearly that you no longer wait in the dark, you glow in it. Now, everything is shifting. The energy is clearing. The masculine is emerging, not just for a moment, but with awareness. You may feel a pull in your chest, a ripple in your dreams, a new timeline opening. And you may not even recognize what's different until your body relaxes in ways it hasn't in months. Because something in the field has shifted. The grid between you is lighter. The tension has broken. The loop has ended. And now, new love is possible. Not because someone changed, but because someone remembered. He's remembering that love doesn't demand, that connection doesn't mean suffocation, that your energy is not a test, it's a home. He's remembering the truth of what you've always been, not a fantasy, not a lesson, but a mirror of the self he lost and is finally ready to claim. So what now? Now, you listen, not to his words, but to the energy. Feel the shift in the air, the softening, the surrender. This week, especially as the veil lifts with the lunar reset, the masculine is moving, not just toward you, but toward himself. And the final preparation is yours too. You're being asked to receive without fear, to open without armor, to walk forward not as the version who waited, but as the one who chose herself long before he returned. Because this reunion, when it comes, won't be like before. It will carry the frequency of souls who've been through fire and returned with clarity. It will not be perfect, but it will be pure. Because what was really happening in the silence was not absence. It was the divine blueprint restoring itself, clearing the illusions, untangling the karma, so that when you meet again, it will be as equals. He wasn't gone, he was becoming. And now that you both have remembered who you are, the journey can finally begin, not in longing, but in alignment.